Hello and welcome to The Master's Voice, the podcast series on Mediabrief.com. This is MVP, the conversations that I, your host and friend Pavan Chawla, have with MVPs. This is a term I've borrowed from US sports parlance, most valuable players. Well, today I'm particularly happy. Why? Because I bring you not one but two MVPs on MVP, the Master's Voice podcast. And today, my two MVPs on the Master's Voice podcast are Durgesh Kaushik, Director of India and South Asia Market Development at Snap, and Gaurav Jain, who looks after APAC business expansion at Snap. For you to identify the voices, since this is a podcast, let me first welcome Durgesh. Durgesh Kaushik, welcome to the Master's Voice.
Thanks, Pavan, for having me. Really excited to be here today.
You're most welcome, Durgesh. And yes, Gaurav Jain, welcome to the Master's Voice.
Thank you, Pavan. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Wonderful, as am I. And thank you both for, agreeing to do this at such a late hour on a working day. And thanks also to Sarika Chavan of Weber Shandwick for making this interaction possible. So, Durgesh, Gaurav, let me first, before we get on to our conversation, quickly read out to all my listeners who these two gentlemen are, your profiles, and there must be some younger ones who might not know. I'm sure everybody, your peers and everyone who listens to the Master's Voice normally will definitely know about the both of you as about Snap. So by your leave, here goes. Durgesh Kaushik is Director of India and South Asia Market Development at Snap, where he leads strategic partnerships, community development and overall ecosystem initiatives that support the growth of Snap in South Asia. Prior to joining Snap, Durgesh worked in leadership roles at several Indian startups, including heading growth at Dunzo and serving as CMO at Edureka, and most recently as CEO and founder of Wishfy. He also spent over 3 years at Facebook in marketing roles in APAC and EMEA and worked at Jio, selected through their Young Leadership Program. Durgesh has an MBA from the University of California and lives in Mumbai with his family. In his free time, you will catch Durgesh playing chess or ping pong or randomly walking around the city. So that's Durgesh Kaushik for you. And now, here's a brief introduction of Gaurav Jain. Gaurav heads the APAC business expansion for Snap in the region. An industry veteran, Gaurav led the Asia long-tail agency business for Google in 2016 and is the proud parent of Facebook's mid-market business in India. Besides his day job, Gaurav is deeply interested in technology, modern world history, and capital markets. That, short and sweet, is Gaurav Jain of Snap for you. Right then, that was your profile, Durgesh and Gaurav. So welcome once again, and let's begin our conversation.
Awesome, let's do it.
All right, so let's get to the business end of our conversation. My first question is to, both Durgesh and Gaurav. And Durgesh, it's going to be about the 5 top and most important digital marketing trends today. Durgesh, take the first 3 and Gaurav take the other 2 and tell us about it. Go ahead, Durgesh first.
Thanks, Pavan. A really important question. So the first real trend is about augmented reality becoming mainstream, and we believe Snap will continue to play an important role here. The second point that I believe is that people will spend more time with tech that makes them feel good. I'll explain this in a bit. And the third trend is about the third-party cookies, which will finally crumble. So maybe let me just kind of go into detail of all of these different points that I shared, and then I'll hand it over to Gaurav to share the other points.
The other 2, yeah, sure.
So the first one is really the AR becoming mainstream, right? So we've spent the last 10 years building technology that enhances the real world and adds value to the business and society, right? And more than 200 million people engage with augmented reality on Snapchat every single day.
Wow.
In the next 4 years, it's predicted that 75% of the world's population, not just Snapchatters, will be actively engaging with AR on a daily basis. Right? Similarly, a lot of shoppers actually say that they prefer using augmented reality to try on products than in store. Right? So businesses using AR also kind of concur with this, and they say that people, when they try products using augmented reality, the return rate goes down dramatically, right? So this is good for the business and their bottom line, as well as for the environment, because fewer returns means, better environment as well. right?
Sure.
And the second trend that I shared, Pavan, was about people wanting to spend more time with technology that makes them feel good, right? So, like in the last few years, it's been tough on everyone, and technology has played a crucial role in keeping us connected. At the same time, there has been more scrutiny on the impact of technology on people's lives. There have been so many conversations around this. At Snap, we are really well positioned to benefit from this particular trend, right? Because we have always believed that doing the right thing for our community is the right thing for the society and for our business as well. That's why we really focus on friendship, fun, privacy, and safety, and which are the core of our product. And every piece of content shared on the public parts of our platform is pre-moderated to make it super safe and stop misinformation.
Right.
So this is the second trend. The third trend is really about the third-party cookies, which will finally crumble. Is what we right?
Oh, yes.
So COVID-19, as you know, has forced marketers to adapt and think differently. In 2022, advertisers face another challenge, which is the retirement of the third-party cookie, which is finally set to come in force in 2023. So this means like in this year is critical for advertisers to pivot from their old model of reaching people in a context-agnostic way to a new model focused more on contextual advertising and better using the cultural resonance of media, content, and platforms. So those were the three trends that I wanted to share.
Very interesting, very insightful. One waits for the two big dadas of the digital space, and I won't name them, to allow the third-party cookies to finally go to their much-awaited, dusty death. But nevertheless, thank you for those three trends, Durgesh. And I'm going to now come to Gaurav Jain. Gaurav, tell me about two other trends, please.
Pavan, I believe one of the trends that I clearly see emerging is that brands will now need to augment their traditional TV plan. Now, what has happened over the past decade, we all know there has been a rise in the mobile content consumption, be it streaming, social media. All these things have upended traditional media buying plan. Now, if you couple this with increased inflation across different media channels, it's clear that this year we need to start finding ways to augment that traditional TV plan. Now, there are many video formats available outside of television, but very few of them, Pavan, you will realize, offer the ability to capture genuine attention. Most of them would be in-feed, sound off, or, even worse, out of sight altogether. Now, when you combine with the traditional TV plan, I can tell you, Pavan, Snap commercials not only offer incremental reach, but offer incremental effectiveness too. So, if I were to recap this point, it would be as younger audiences carry their behavior into older years, and the competition for this attention increases, advertisers will need to begin exploring these additive platforms for even brand building act. So, I think that's the fourth one. The final one, which we are witnessing very strongly in India, in APAC, and in fact the world over, is what we're calling the camera marketing strategy. We fundamentally believe that every business needs to have a camera strategy. Ultimately, we at Snap don't just want to be your advertising partner or just help you come up with cool face filters. That's not the idea. We actually want to help you transform the way you use the camera across your business to solve real problems. Now, sometimes that could be with the marketing team. Other times it could be with, operations or merchandising. But at the end of the day, what we can do is we can help you deliver fun, useful, convenient commerce experiences for your customers. So I think these two, in my mind, stand out.
Lovely, very insightful. And these two trends actually also tell us, a bit of the USP of the Snapchat experience for the consumer and the Snapchat power and assistance and support for the marketer. Right. So you preempted my second question, Gaurav. Durgesh and Gaurav, both of you, but first Durgesh, give us an overview of Snapchat's India journey. Look, the space that you have, Durgesh, is a tiny little envelope. You got to write on it with your words, spoken word. So what has been an overview of Snapchat's or Snap's India journey, and what are the milestones it has achieved in India and its APAC operations?
Sure, Pavan. So we started our India operations in 2019, and we have in the last 8 quarters we have grown more than 100% year over year.
Wow.
And last year, we announced that we have reached more than 100 million monthly users. And our AR community, which is the people who create lenses, has also grown more than 200%.
Wonderful.
Since September of 2020. So overall, we are seeing great engagement and great user growth in India. And the community is really resonating with our focus on localization and making Snapchat culturally relevant in India.
Excellent. Fabulous in just these few years. And you also, the most important thing is the kind of UX and the experience that your users have. At the same time, the community that is developing and working and creating these experiences at the back and using them for their own brands and their own advice and help to brands and to consumers together is growing. That's really significant. So, Gaurav, let me come to you. What is unique about Snapchat? Its USPs. And here really, Gaurav, it's not somebody who's a bit of an expert in media, etc., or an editor or a host of a podcast series who's done some research and is asking you this question. I am genuinely interested because I don't think I am your core target group, and I really don't use Snapchat as much as I'm sure very many of your core target groups use. So tell me, what are the USPs it offers, especially its core target user groups, and define those user groups also, and tell us what kind of marketers and genres are they uniquely relevant for?
Pavan, firstly, I think Snap was built for everyone to authentically express themselves. So you should definitely download one today if you haven't already.
I promise to do that. Yes, I will.
Lovely. Pavan, firstly, let me tell you, Snap is not a social media platform. From the very outset, the app was built differently than the traditional social media platforms as they existed or even exist now. What we are very proud to say that Snap is a camera app that empowers people to express themselves, live in the moment, learn about the world, and basically have fun together. It is an app designed to help people communicate with their real friends, their loved ones, in an environment that is absolutely free from pressures often find on traditional social media platforms.
Right.
From the very start, the founders wanted to build a platform and technologies that support real-life human behaviors.
Wow.
And that's importantly in a healthy, fun and safe environment. Our commitment to building technology for humans and not the other way around has informed literally every product decision that we as a company have made. And not only that, we take a very human-centered approach to innovation, which means we start with a universal set of values at our core and deliberately consider people's need ahead of only data. So in that sense, we are very different. We are very much liked. In fact, we are liked by 95% of the people who use the app, which is by far the highest number you would see for any social media platform out there.
Okay.
Now, this approach hasn't made us perfect. And we are constantly thinking about how we can continue to make our products and services safer, healthier, and basically fun-loving for Snapchatters around the world.
Very interesting, very insightful reply, Gaurav, and it has opened my mind to Snapchat. I will, as I promised you, definitely download it. What you've told me tells me that this is indeed can be used by and is for everybody, every age group. So let me put the question now in another way. Your marketing collateral campaigns, how you reach out to people, what is the target group that you address your language to, so that I know, whom do you approach primarily? Because every age group has its own way of speaking. And what is the language that you use for which target group in your marketing comms?
I think I can take that. So our approach is really when we talk about messaging externally, it's really about communicating the fact that we are a very secure, safe platform and we promote visual communication. People who resonate with it are the people who are really concerned about these aspects and naturally these days Gen Z is really aware and they are the ones who kind of resonate with it the first, and that kind of shows up in some of our user base as well, right? So while our messaging is really centered around these tenets that I just mentioned, we don't specifically target anyone, right? Because the fact is anyone can communicate visually, and communicating visually is the most natural way of communication, right? Just that the Gen Z is more aware about the privacy and safety and security, and they resonate with our messaging a lot more, and that's the reason that shows up in our user base today.
Thank you, Durgesh. I know and I understand. I think that really it's the younger Gen Z crowd who like to be free and expressive. And here, not only do you give them a safe environment, but also it's like a camera app that actually helps people express themselves. And who more expressive than these youngsters? So absolutely, and it's a wonderful core target group also. So Durgesh and Gaurav, I just want to ask both of you. First, you, Durgesh, how is Snapchat leveraging its position by structuring itself as, a culturally and locally relevant platform? And tell me that first, Durgesh. And then Gaurav, you have to answer this next question of mine, which is, what's your long-term strategy for the APAC market? Ultimately, the market has to grow. And you, as an able partner of Durgesh, will be leading that together, both of you. But Durgesh, take the first bit first, okay? How is Snapchat leveraging its position by structuring itself, as a culturally and locally relevant platform?
I think it really starts with understanding the local cultural nuances and the culture itself, right? And then kind of reflecting that in different initiatives that we take on the platform, right? For instance, we started building this community of like local lens creators in India, right? So when the local lens creators develop experiences on the platform, they are by default localized because they are building for the people like them, right? Similarly, we started celebrating a lot of festivals, including some of the regional festivals. Like last year, we celebrated more than 75 festivals on Snapchat.
Wow!
By giving our community these different creative tools for them to celebrate these festivals with their friends and family, right? Then we also partner with a lot of local organizations like Bollywood, a lot of different movies. Like recently, we partnered with RRR and then with KGF, and then also with IPL, right, cricket, which is a part of the local culture as well. And then the whole ecosystem of local partners that we are developing. We partnered with Flipkart to kind of bring camera kit to or our camera technology to their customers as well. And also Zomato, right, to kind of help people discover local restaurants on Snap Maps, which is also one of our products where people can, see what their friends are up to and where they are. So overall, we have like really focused on developing local experiences on different parts of the application. Also including on the Discover side, which is our content offering, right, where we've launched multiple originals, Indian originals, and also shows that kind of resonate with the local audiences. So really, sum of all of this kind of makes the app really culturally relevant for the audiences in India.
Excellent. And Gaurav, how will you take forward the not small, but definitely not insurmountable for you task of marketing it and helping that marketing grow the business, not only in India but across APAC?
Pavan, the beauty of my job is that if our people, our community, our users love the app, my job actually becomes very easy. Now, as our user base expands rapidly outside the United States and Europe, particularly in Asia Pacific, and India, of course, stands out in that, we are also continuing with our efforts on the business expansion side. Truth be told, I am particularly surprised by the amount of love and amount of support that we are getting from our partners, from our agencies, from our advertisers across the verticals. Because they realize that Snap offers a very highly engaged audience. It is an audience which is not available on a traditional media platform, nor is it as engaged on traditional social media platform. Which means it is a great opportunity for these brands to reach out to these consumers at scale, at efficient costs. And that is where I think the job becomes really easy. So the plan will be to focus, of course, on India. But wherever our user base grows, I think our business expansion efforts will be diverted there. For example, we have a nice growing user base in Southeast Asia. A year down the line, maybe we start our business expansion efforts there. We recently tied up with our second local sales partner in India. This is HTTP Pool. That is again a testament of our expansion strategy in the country. And the feedback, the love has been truly amazing.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Very good. And I'm glad that HTTP Pool is with you all now, or you all are with it, because they also have an amazing team. In fact, Sunny was one of my guests on this series earlier also. So I had the opportunity to learn a lot about HTTP Pool firsthand from him, on this show. Great, wonderful. So, sum up, Durgesh, how is Snapchat different from FB, Insta, and Twitter? You don't have to name any of your competitors if you don't want to. It's absolutely fine. I understand, actually, you did sum up that it's a great camera app that allows very, very good engagement and is extremely relevant to the TG that you deliver very smartly as and easily, as Gaurav also just listed. But nevertheless, I'll tell you what. Why am I asking you this question? I'm doing what many digital marketers actually do. When you go to any digital marketer, any youngster who's, sir, I've set up a little agency and I try to help people and brands. So whether it's a youngster, whether it's, even the more senior people across with more experience, I do tend to kind of feel and experience more often than not that they're generally only sort of concentrated around a Facebook and Insta, a LinkedIn and a Twitter. Ye 4 ho gaye, I am done. What is Snapchat doing to make a place for itself on the digital marketers' mental home pages today? Because I do believe Snapchat is uniquely positioned to provide audiences and very, very sharply focused audiences with its salient features, which are not available on other platforms or not so extensively used on other platforms, because some of the other platforms that are named, you first have to still get a little more specific and try to do some spray and pray or some specific targeting to actually reach that community. But here Snapchat is like a muscular body of really a very good target audience that is in the age group of Gen Zs and thereabouts, above and below. So tell me, what are you doing?
I think I'll just kind of, make a point and then I'll, let Gaurav kind of share this, right?
Sure.
So just to tie back to the trend that I shared early on, right? Digital media trends. People do want to spend time on technology that feels good, right? So Snapchat has, from the onset, really focused on privacy by design, right? We are a platform, if you create a profile, your profile is by default private. And we actually recommend for you to not change your settings, right? So it's really safe and it's really private, and that is a really, really biggest differentiator for us, right? And brands, when it comes to brands, when they realize that people are actually in an environment where they are feeling safe, that also applies to the advertisements that they see as well, right? So it's really about the whole positive, experience that people are having when they're on Snapchat. That kind of translates into the brand experience when they interact with different brands on Snapchat as well.
So the strengths again delineated by you. Now, Gaurav, tell me, how are you going to try and make sure with all your very, very critical comms and marketing that Snapchat's uniqueness is there on the mental home pages of any digital marketer who shouldn't now in future going ahead restrict themselves to just 4 of these social media platforms? I mean, audience fit permitting.
Absolutely, Pavan. I'll tell you 4 things. 1, Snapchat offers brands one of the most effective ways to engage with a large, growing, unique and unduplicated millennial and Gen Z audience. Many of them who do not subscribe or watch a linear TV or engage with feed-based social media platforms. That's 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, Snap's camera technology extends ad campaigns into immersive experiences. Now, brand partners that me and my team have worked with in India have leaned onto that technology to unlock new possibilities, to extend those campaigns and drive resonance with the 100 million plus addressable community we have using the camera today.
Right.
Be it Netflix, who created a serendipity generator to bring alive the theme of their latest show, or Star Sports, who used audio machine learning to create excitement for Kabaddi. The possibilities for brands to connect with audiences on Snapchat is limitless. Number 3, from our creator partners, Snapchat offers a unique opportunity for them and public figures to build their business and meaningfully grow their audience. And hence, it is a place where anyone can bring their creative ideas to life. And lastly, and most importantly, for some of the marketeers listening to this, Snap has a very sophisticated measurement, ranking, and optimization capabilities to drive relevance and deliver your returns on investment.
Excellent. And giving marketers, I think, Gaurav, very sharply the ability to, target with pinpoint precision. So it's a segmentation of one that every marketer can look forward to in a very, very sharply defined audience. Very good. Excellent. Let's go on to the tech space a little. Okay, a bit of an overview here, So Gaurav, let's shift to the tech trends. How has tech in digital marketing evolved? What are the main frontiers of tech growth in the space? AI, ML, AR. Durgesh already mentioned those, but take it away.
Yeah. Number one thing that comes to my mind, Pavan, is of course augmented reality. And we as leaders of augmented reality, I think there is a unique opportunity to build the creative digital skills, and this is at the core of Snapchat's offering in the country. We center our company and our app around AR and the camera because we've long believed that this technology can and will do incredible things to enhance our lives, the lives of our users, and how we learn, explore, shop, make art, etc., etc., etc. Right? Long gone are the days when camera was just a tool for documented important moments. Now it has become a powerful platform for self-expression and literally visual communication. And Snap is enabling this, right? And I believe you spoke about technology. AR represents this next major shift in computing. We as a company are committed to leading the way on this.
Right.
Our camera-first approach creates a compelling long-term monetization opportunity as more and more brands adopt Snap's AR and our creative tools to drive business solutions in, almost unimaginable ways. Durgesh, of course, spoke about how AR usage is surging globally. 200 million people using AR, 6 billion AR lens played every day. And if we were to talk local, I can tell you that about 73% of people in India successfully identify AR when they see it. 64% of Snapchatters in India and across generations use AR to have fun.
Wow.
The second tech trend I see happening is Snapchat becoming home for e-commerce experiences.
Okay.
And this will happen through our industry-leading advancements in try-on technology, native transactions, and creating flexibility. So AR try-on is, in that sense, the next chapter for us.
Okay.
And in India, there is this data which tells us that AR sees a 94% higher conversion rate when consumers interact with products. Now imagine that, 94% is a big deal, right?
Absolutely.
And as brands like Netflix and Spotify continue leaning into AR to drive those real business results, we believe this is a massive opportunity for AR to become the next major shift in computing.
Excellent. So Durgesh and Gaurav, let's come on to content. I see the unique enabling of, marketers who are looking for the kind of precious communities that you offer them. And communities at scale, when you look at Gen Z and young and older people in the space, who are very digitally evolved and capable and are actually engaging with one another in secure environments, very, very privacy driven. And therefore, this is my space and nobody can sort of hack into it, if I may use that word, from their perspective. So there is security, there is happiness, and there is familiarity with the domain on which they sort of engage with one another, which is Snapchat and your core target groups. And the most important thing that they use is ability to engage with great content, create great content, and you help brands also take the experience, the virtual experience of their own offerings to people who don't have to actually go and visit physical places to actually experience what is on offer. So it's really good. But I want to say one more thing, the kind of audience that you have, or that I think anybody has, but amongst the younger audiences, okay? I believe, is my view, consumers only have a tactical relationship with brands. Give me goods or services, take my money. I don't want a relationship with you, as most marketers seem convinced is true. What do you think? Because social media platforms keep pushing the narrative around building brand comfort and relationship with consumers. But I believe that everybody is very tactical. I will tell a Twitter, I don't want a feed or an ad on my feed. Let me pay you and keep my feed clean, please. Okay? And I love Twitter also. I mean, all of them are great. But are your users also very tactical? I know they are comfortable with you guys and they love Snapchat and they are there. They are not going to go away. They will probably only grow in numbers, in age and in the breadth also. But do you believe that it's mostly a tactical relationship that anybody who uses an app or a service which is on the digital space looks at it like that?
See, what has always happened, right, is like most of the advertisements and how brands basically reach out to people has been disruptive to their experience on the service that they're consuming content on, right? So I think as long as brands and the platforms are able to provide an experience that actually enhances the overall value that the users get from the platform.
Okay.
I think then everyone wins. The user wins, the brand wins, the platform wins, right? So when, say, Gaurav talked about the augmented reality as a way for brands to connect with the consumers, right? It's kind of a very fun way, right? People actually have fun interacting with the brands using AI, right? So it doesn't come in the way of them having a good time on the platform, and it really creates this connect with the brands, right? So my view is it's really if the brands and the platforms really focus on enhancing the experience rather than disrupting it, there's definitely a possibility of creating deeper relationship with the audiences. Brands have a much bigger opportunity there.
Right. Gaurav, do you want to add something to what Durgesh said?
Yes, I can add, and as someone who has spent a lot of time in consumer marketing, helping companies and brands, both traditional and digital natives, reach out to their consumers in the most effective way across platforms. I do think, Pavan, there is a lot that has changed in the past 2 decades when it comes to what consumers expect from a brand. Today's generation, be it Gen Z or the younger millennials, they care a lot more than just the product or the service they bought. They care about, is the brand or the company environmental friendly? Are they giving back to the society? Are they reaching out to me on a platform in a non-obstructive way? So I think the generation of today is very aware. They care about the world around them, the society around them, and hence marketers of today, in whatever communications they are doing to their prospective consumers, need to be very, very mindful of that.
Okay.
And that can really, really help you build a brand, and in fact also turn your business a lot more profitable, lot easier, in a faster time, because a satisfied customer comes back to you again without probably having to reach out to them again and again. So I do think it goes beyond the tactics of one-time communication or an offer, but it is much more than that, especially for today's generation.
Excellent. Like you said, non-obstructive way of communicating, maybe non-intrusive way of communicating, and also the fact that brands need to be purpose-driven and that they should be walking that talk. And I do see that youngsters today are far more, when I say values, I don't mean it in a didactic, preachy, old world kind of way. But, they care for, like you said, people and the environment, society around them. And they will resonate with and probably be more comfortable connecting with a brand that comes to them with those values in place and demonstrably walking that talk, but on a platform like Snapchat, which is like their favorite watering hole, so the TG has to be right. And I think if the fit of the brand values is also there, then you will actually close the deal, right? Great. So there are, about 3 years ago, maybe 2019, end of it, Hootsuite had come out with this trends of digital marketing, and there were 5 important ones. They went to some 3,200, 3,300 of the best digital marketers and asked them, and these were people who were like paying customers of Hootsuite. And this is not a pitch or a plug for Hootsuite, but I respect it as a wonderful content sharing platform which helps you create engagements that empower your business. So they said they went to these really good practicing digital marketers, and the top trend that those guys came back with was that around 80% of the polled marketers said that close to 50% of my digital marketing budget is in dark social, WhatsApp, Telegram, all of those messenger services, just to create some engagements, push people to different platforms of usage and what have you. So that was their trend. Another one was that at every point in the past, whenever there was a little campaign that came out, or digital marketing campaign, they primarily wanted around 80% only wanted customer awareness. But in today's day and age, with the real tiny time frame of attention and the tiny time frame that is given to a brand to quickly hit a consumer's mindset and then convert the consumer. So it's not just brand awareness or consumer awareness, but consumer acquisition also are both like the target objectives of every communication. So when you look at all this kind of trends, what are the most important ones that you think you deploy in marketing and creating more affinity for Snapchat? Not just when you're looking at your core target group, then there are two kinds of people. One is the ones that you expand, and the others are the ones who are actually using your space. So when you go to businesses that need to come on to you and use the power that you can give them, how do you market Snapchat to the B2B space in India? Gaurav, you want to take that?
Yeah, I can. So Pavan, firstly, for us, camera and content solutions on Snap stands out. And which means you can run camera ads, you can run content ads, reach out to your consumers, like you said, in a way which is not intruding them. It is very context, it is not context agnostic.
Right.
Second one, I already said this before, but it's so important that AR ads is a force multiplier literally for Snap ads. It's literally a multiplier that you put onto Snap ads and see wonderful results.
Mm-hmm.
Next one, I think, is a scalable and efficient lens distribution. Now, in terms of distribution, if you think of it, brands are able to pay for impressions directly in the camera. So when you are paying for an impression, it isn't a view in a feed or an actual play with your lens.
Right.
And we feature the same buying flexibility as standard video with bidded reach and frequency and also national takeover by type so that we can meet all your objectives. I can tell you a few success stories actually, interestingly, right?
Yes. Please.
OnePlus Diwali lens. Now, this led to a staggering 80 million impressions.
Wow.
I remember a 9-point lift in ad awareness and I think a 7-point lift in brand awareness.
Wow.
A fantastic example for brand using AR to drive business results. Another one that comes to my mind. Zippy, we all know, a well-known ITC brand, worked on a multi-product campaign that included augmented reality ads, Snap ads, story ads for the launch of their 2-flavor sachet packs. And believe it or not, that campaign led to a 96% increase in their brand association,
wow,
a 6-point lift in the ad awareness, and about a 5-point lift in the brand awareness.
Wow.
So that's how, that's our message to the potential brands and on how you should utilize the massive and engaged audience in India to win them over.
Excellent. Really very insightful, and I think it's going to inspire a lot of marketers. What do you think is important in business development? What is the one thing that you look for, Durgesh and Gaurav?
I think I personally look for empathy towards customers. To be a very successful business development professional, you need to really understand what your customers really want, what their pain points are, and to develop a real empathy towards them. And when you do that, you connect and you actually end up closing a lot more business than otherwise.
And what do you think, Gaurav? Anything to add to that?
A big plus one, I think empathy, knowing your customer, knowing their needs, clearly stands out. So a big plus one to that. Apart from that, I think constantly innovating in your head, because every day you wake up, the world has moved a little bit in some direction. And if you as a professional, if you as a person trying to make an impact in your profession, if you're not adapting to that, I think you are probably missing out a big piece of the puzzle.
Right. So both of you, wonderful gentlemen, from you each, what is your one piece of advice, Durgesh, we start with you, to youngsters following a career in digital media and marketing?
Yes, Pavan, I've spent a lot of my career within marketing itself. So I think, other than all the advice that people give, being data driven and being just understanding your customer pain points and all, I think one thing that's really important for today's digital marketers is really to be ahead of the trend. Technology is changing rapidly, and there are so many opportunities that come your way if you are ahead of the curve. If you know what's coming and how to capitalize on the new trends. So I think it's really for people to be really passionate about the new tech and kind of keep a watch on it and capitalize the opportunities and as and when they present themselves.
Yeah, very insightful. Gaurav?
Yeah. Well, firstly, Pavan, I think the Gen Z out there are extremely smart and talented, so they don't definitely need advice from someone like me. But I'll try and share my 2 cents, okay? I genuinely believe that technology has the power to do many things, and changing the world is one of them. no matter what field you pursue in life, do watch out for the disruption that technology is bringing in that domain. The ones who see that change and adapt to it will have a significant impact on the world. There's this quote that I really like. The pace of change has never been this fast, yet it will never be this slow again. And all the key people who can adapt to this change will outshine.
Wow.
Secondly, your career is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Keep it steady, have that sip of water. Working life consists of complex structures with many opportunities, but also potential for conflicts, right? And regardless of how it turns out, maybe make it your goal to never stay still. And lastly, and this has always been very dear to me genuinely, have a lot of fun while doing whatever you do. I think a relaxed mind and a happy soul are the most underrated performance boosters. So yeah, get out there, own your decisions and your mistakes, and have a lot of fun while doing it.
Wonderful, wonderful, Gaurav and Durgesh. Very insightful indeed. So what is the kind of work culture that, Durgesh, you and Gaurav provide your teammates at Snap? Because unless you give them that peace-inducing and, liberating work culture that says, go ahead, you make a mistake. If you don't make a mistake, you haven't tried, and if you're always safe and whatever, then you're either one of the most amazing and very, very rare geniuses that the world has produced, or you're not just stretching yourself. What is your belief and what is the work culture like?
Yeah, so our company really stands by three core principles or values. First is kind, which basically addresses your question around letting people make mistakes, being empathetic to each other, kind of respecting each other's space and everything else, and being kind to the customers and users in our community as well. Right? So kind is a very important value for us. The next one is being smart. So just getting things done in a very smart way. And then final is the creative, being creative, right? So finding creative solutions to complex problems in this work environment. These are the three values that we really live by. And these are super important values. These are not just said, but these are practiced, because this is also, kind of a feature in your performance reviews as well. So the company rates you on these values too, right? So that kind of imbibes a very healthy culture. We have happy hours. We have council sessions, which are really important, where all the different team members come together. They kind of have a peaceful time. They share their life stories, and we interact and do all the different things and activities together. That kind of breaks the ice and just gets people to kind of understand each other as people, not just as colleagues, right? So that's kind of creating this very friendly and a very productive work environment for us at Snapchat.
Right. And Gaurav, you came in recently, and I think you're a wonderful addition to the strength of Snapchat and Snap in India. Really, I mean that. And you coming in from, places like Facebook and Google and Nvidia and Hotstar. So you tell me, as a really evolved, smart, strategic professional who's aware and sensitive and is always driven by that, as is every business person, but still leader, but you also speak about empathy. So when you came in here, what was it about the work culture at Snap that sort of greeted you, struck you, or, surprised you or inspired you?
I'll tell you, Pavan, of course, I had a remote onboarding when I joined Snap, much like most of the employees in the world globally nowadays. But unfortunately, I would have loved to be in the office and, meet everyone and then join. But the first thing that clearly stood out is what Durgesh highlighted, right? This company really stands for the values they talk about. We are kind, we are smart, we are creative. And trust me, these are not the words that are put on an internal website, but they are genuinely part of everything that we do on a daily basis. Apart from what all Durgesh said about the lovely work environment, the quality of work, the stretch that you feel as a professional, given the quality of work you're supposed to do, I think all those are very, very satisfying experiences. We are all encouraged, and I myself as a manager absolutely encourage my team to speak up. We are a non-hierarchical company in which we genuinely want to hear the voice of every employee, because great ideas can come from anywhere.
Sure.
We're a great equal opportunities employer. We value our diversity. So I think all these things combined, along with the smartest of people that Snapchat hires, I think it is not a surprise that we are making such a big impact on the world.
Wonderful. More strength to both of you. So if somebody comes to you and says, I'm a youngster just out of college, and your HR team thinks I have the requisite qualifications, at least academic ones, because I'm a fresher, to join the team here, even at the, the starting level. What are the 1, 2, 3 qualities, values, or whatever you want to call them, that are critical in your mind? The youngster must possess those or it. And if they are or it is missing, then it becomes a deal breaker for you. Durgesh, one quality. Okay, just tell me one.
I think the ability to hustle and get things done. I think that's the most important one. And being humble while doing that. I think these are the two most important qualities for me.
Wonderful. And that focus on growth and solutions is like remarkable. Hustle is a lovely word. And what about you, Gaurav?
Well, it's hard to put one adjective to it, but I think I would to say, and this can be difficult to judge in a 45-minute interview, but
sure.
I think perseverance is one thing which I think can make or break any professional in any job.
Right.
That is, if we are not convinced that there is perseverance, the person can go after what one is supposed to with full rigor, passion, and a lot of times patience. That can be a sort of a deal breaker.
So hustle, persevere, persist, be passionate about things. And I'm sure integrity must be one of the most important things out here, because unless you're honest to yourself, you will not be honest to what your job and your entire responsibility as an employee to all your target stakeholders entails and demands of you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they should be kind, creative, and smart at the end of the day, right? They should kind of imbibe the values that we have as a company.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wonderful, Durgesh and Gaurav. I have really learned a lot, and I'm truly inspired by the kind of sunshine that's in your minds about being creative, about being empathetic, about being persistent, about being patient and hustling and everything else, all driven by the best values. So truly that's the way to actually go about not only putting into practice and exercising all your great education and experience and learning and trainings and what have you, not only for you but for any professional in the space. And both of you have demonstrated that so beautifully well. The way you have grown Snap and Gaurav, your plans for marketing and taking it even better and bigger. So more and more strength to the both of you. I enjoyed my conversation, a lot of insights, a lot of learnings for me, and I'm sure not only for the youngsters who are listening, but also for your peers and all the other professionals out there. So what did you think of our little chat so far, Durgesh? And then I'll come to you too, Gaurav. Durgesh?
Firstly, Pavan, I really enjoyed this conversation, and I think the questions that you asked, you can see that, you're really wanting to help the youngsters understand, what's happening out there. And I think it's really valuable for the youngsters that you're really bringing this out, meeting with all the professionals and experts in the industry and bringing this out. So I'm really, really happy to be a part of this and to be contributing to this.
Thank you very much indeed, Durgesh. And what about you, Gaurav?
Pavan, I have to say, I enjoyed a lot. It was such a candid chat. We spoke from all things from content to AR to commerce on Snapchat. Thank you for having us here. I loved the Mediabrief, most valuable player, the entire concept, your perseverance, I will use that word, in reaching out and educating in some ways the younger audience out there. So thank you for having us, and it was a lovely chat.
Thank you very much indeed, Gaurav. You're very kind to use all those wonderful words, and Durgesh, you too, for all the time, both of you gentlemen. And thank you. You spoke about perseverance, Gaurav. I must also thank Sarika Chavan of Weber Shandvik. She's been very persevering in this and very persistent. And thank you very much, Sarika, for making this wonderful chat possible. So thank you very much. Durgesh Kaushik, Director of India and South Asia Market Development at Snap, and Gaurav Jain, who looks after APAC business expansion at Snap, were both my distinguished guests on this very rewarding for me episode of MVP, the Master's Voice podcast from Mediabrief.com. I hope you too enjoyed and benefited from it. Well, till we meet again, this is your host and friend Pavan Chawla saying thank you for having tuned in. I will come back with MVP, the Master's Voice podcast, with another episode with more such distinguished guests. Until then, take care, stay safe, bye-bye.